What if the people who were supposed to be the safest, the most trusted, the most normal, were actually hiding the darkest secrets behind closed doors? Imagine a quiet, picture-perfect American suburb. Beautiful homes, green lawns, children playing in the golden afternoon light, parents watching from the sidelines, smiling, waving, looking like everything is absolutely fine. But what if nothing was fine? What if, underneath all that attractive perfection, there were desires so forbidden, so dangerous, that even the people feeling them couldn't fully understand why? What if the most dangerous person in the neighborhood wasn't a stranger, but someone you knew, someone you trusted, someone who looked just like you? This is a story about people who are deeply hooked in lives they never truly chose. A bored wife, a lost husband, a community gripped by fear, and a secret that threatens to destroy everything. It's not a horror movie, but it will hook you deeper than most horror ever could. It's not a thriller, but your heart will race in the best possible way as every scene pulls you closer to an uncomfortable, brilliant truth. This film dares to ask the best and most terrifying question of all. Are good people capable of truly terrible things? It attracted massive controversy. It attracted award nominations. It attracted audiences who couldn't look away and couldn't stop thinking about it long after the credits rolled. Critics called it one of the most attractive, unsettling, and genuinely powerful films of its era. And once you start watching, you will be completely, utterly hooked, because this isn't just a story about other people. This is a story about all of us. The film, the one, the unforgettable, the deeply good and deeply disturbing masterpiece, Little Children, 2006. Now that we have your full attention, and we know we do, because this story is already hooking you in the best possible way, let's talk about the brilliant, attractive collection of talent that brought this unforgettable film to life. At the helm of this masterpiece was director Todd Field, one of the most good and carefully precise filmmakers working in Hollywood. Todd Field doesn't just make movies. He builds worlds that feel so real, so attractive in their detail, that you forget you're watching fiction. He had previously directed the critically acclaimed In the Bedroom in 2001, and with Little Children, he proved that his first film was no accident. His direction here is nothing short of the best. Every frame is deliberate. Every silence is loaded. Every look between characters hooks you in ways that dialogue simply cannot. The screenplay was written by Todd Field and Tom Perrotta, adapted from Perrotta's deeply good and provocative novel of the same name. Perrotta's ability to find the best darkness hiding inside ordinary life is what makes this source material so irresistibly attractive to readers and audiences alike. Now the cast, and what an attractive, extraordinary cast it is. Kate Winslet plays Sarah Pierce, a bored, intellectually starved young mother who feels completely trapped inside her comfortable but hollow suburban life. Winslet delivers one of the best performances of her entire career here. She is hooked inside a marriage that feels more like a polite arrangement than a love story, and every single emotion she shows on screen pulls you deeper. Her performance attracted a well-deserved Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. Patrick Wilson plays Brad Adamson, an attractive, charming, and deeply lost young father who is studying for the bar exam but mostly avoiding the responsibilities of adult life. Wilson is so good in this role that you feel genuinely sorry for him, even when you probably shouldn't. His character is hooked between what life expects of him and what his heart secretly craves. Jackie Earle Haley delivers what many critics called the single best supporting performance of 2006, playing Ronnie McGorvey, a deeply troubled, registered sex offender who has just returned to live with his mother in the neighborhood. Haley's performance is so attractive in its raw humanity and so hooked in tragedy that it earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Jennifer Connelly plays Kathy, Brad's attractive, successful, and deeply controlling wife, a woman who has built the best version of a perfect life but can feel it quietly falling apart. Noah Emmerich plays Larry Hedges, a former police officer who becomes obsessively hooked on driving Ronnie out of the neighborhood, representing the community's best and worst impulses all at once. The film was produced by Ted Hope, Toby Emmerich, and Scott Rudin, some of the best and most respected names in independent American cinema. Little Children was released on October 6, 2006, and immediately attracted attention from critics, awards bodies, and audiences hungry for something real, something good, something that dared to challenge. Comfortable thinking. Buckle up, because this story is about to hook you completely, and it is one of the best and most attractively told suburban dramas ever put on film. Our story begins in a good, clean, sun-drenched American suburb, the kind of place where every house looks the same and every family appears perfectly happy from the outside. We are introduced to Sarah Pierce, played by Kate Winslet, a young mother who spends her afternoons at the local playground, watching her daughter Lucy while surrounded by a group of other mothers. But Sarah doesn't quite fit in. She is too smart for the conversations happening around her. She is too hooked in books, in ideas, in a world that feels far bigger and more attractive than the one she's trapped inside. Her husband Richard is distant and cold, more interested in anonymous online activity than in his own wife. Sarah feels invisible. She feels like the best years of her life are quietly slipping away while she pushes a stroller in circles. Then one afternoon, everything changes. A new face appears at the playground. An attractive, tall, good-looking young man named Brad Adamson arrives with his young son, Aaron. The other mothers are immediately hooked. They whisper about him. They giggle about him. They call him the prom king because he looks that good. On a dare, Sarah walks over and introduces herself. And then, in one of the most electric moments of the film, she impulsively kisses him on the lips, just to shock the watching mothers. It works. And something else works too. Something neither Sarah nor Brad expected. Brad is married to Kathy, an attractive, successful documentary filmmaker who works hard and earns well and essentially runs the household. Brad is supposed to be studying for the bar exam for the third time, but the best thing he seems able to do is avoid it. He skates at the local skate park at night. He watches high school football games. He is a grown man who is hooked in a permanent state of adolescence, unable to fully commit to the adult life that has been built around him. Sarah and Brad begin meeting at the playground regularly. Their conversations are good, genuinely good, the kind of conversations where two people discover that the other person actually sees them. And what starts as the best kind of friendship slowly, dangerously, attractively slides into something far more complicated. Meanwhile, the neighborhood is buzzing with fear. A registered sex offender named Ronnie McGorvey has returned to live with his elderly mother May on a quiet street nearby. The community is hooked in panic. Flyers go up, mothers clutch their children tighter. And a former police officer named Larry Hedges makes it his personal mission to make Ronnie's life as miserable as possible. Showing up outside his house, following him, harassing him at every turn. But here is where the film becomes something genuinely extraordinary. Rather than simply painting Ronnie as a monster, director Todd Field gives us something far more good and far more unsettling, a human being. We see Ronnie with his gentle, loving mother May, who believes with her whole heart that her son deserves a second chance. We see Ronnie trying and failing to exist in a world that has decided he is beyond redemption. Jackie Earle Haley plays these scenes with such raw, attractive vulnerability that you feel hooked between disgust and genuine pity. It is the best kind of uncomfortable filmmaking. Back with Sarah and Brad, their relationship deepens. They swim together, they talk about everything. They feel, for the first time in years, truly alive. The attraction between them is electric and good and dangerous all at once. They begin an affair, passionate and secret, meeting while their children nap nearby. Both of them begin talking about running away, starting over. building the best new life somewhere far from their perfectly imperfect suburban cages. The fantasy is so attractive, so hooked in desperate hope, that they almost believe it themselves. But real life has a good way of interrupting fantasy. Brad's bar exam results arrive. He has failed again. His confidence collapses. His identity as a man, already fragile, begins crumbling. And Sarah begins to realize that the attractive dream she has been building with Brad may be more about escape than about love. The film builds toward a series of painful, perfectly constructed moments of reckoning. A neighborhood pool party where tensions explode. A late-night football game where Brad has one shining, beautiful moment of belonging. And a devastating final night where Ronnie, pushed beyond his breaking point by loneliness and the weight of who he is, makes a terrible and irreversible decision. Larry, who has spent the entire film hooked in rage and cruelty toward Ronnie, finally confronts the real cost of his obsession. And in one quietly good and powerful moment, he chooses humanity over hatred. Sarah races through the night, looking for her daughter, for Brad, for herself. And in those breathless, final moments, something shifts. She doesn't run. She doesn't escape. She goes back. Not because everything is fine, but because she is finally ready to face the life she actually has. Brad, too, turns back toward home. No explosions, no dramatic confessions, just two people, deeply hooked in their own beautiful and broken humanity, choosing, quietly and painfully, to grow up. Now here is where things get genuinely fascinating and deeply hooked in controversy, because Little Children didn't just attract critical praise. It attracted bans, restrictions, and some of the best organized moral outrage of the mid-2000s. The film was rated NC-17 in its initial cut by the MPAA, the Motion Picture Association of America, which is essentially the most restrictive rating a film can receive in the United States. An NC-17 rating means no one under 17 is admitted under any circumstances, and more importantly, it means most mainstream theaters won't carry the film at all. It's a commercial death sentence. The film was ultimately edited and re-rated R, but the battle to get there attracted enormous attention and debate. So what exactly made the MPAA so uncomfortable? What was so good and so threatening about this film that it needed to be restricted? First, the sexual content. The affair between Sarah and Brad is shown with an honesty and an attractive physicality that Hollywood rarely allows. This isn't tasteful, carefully lit romance. It is messy and desperate and real. The MPAA found several scenes explicitly hooked in content they considered beyond the acceptable boundary for an R-rated film. Second, and far more controversially, the treatment of Ronnie McGorvey. This is where the film attracted its most serious and sustained criticism. Family advocacy groups, child safety organizations, and conservative community leaders across the United States were deeply disturbed by the film's decision to humanize a convicted child sex offender. They argued, loudly and in good faith, that showing Ronnie as a sympathetic, complex, tragic human being was dangerous. They believed the film was, intentionally or not, creating attractive sympathy for the very worst kind of criminal. Several community screening organizations refused to show the film. Some theaters in more conservative regions of the United States pulled it entirely after receiving complaints. Parent groups circulated petitions. Religious organizations wrote letters to distributors. In certain international markets, the film faced even stricter restrictions. In several countries, with tighter content regulations around the depiction of sexual offense-related material, the film was either edited significantly or not released theatrically at all. Third, the film's moral ambiguity. What hooked censors and conservative critics perhaps most deeply was the film's absolute refusal to punish its characters in the ways audiences expect. Sarah and Brad commit adultery, and while their affair ends, neither is destroyed. Neither is publicly shamed. Neither delivers a tearful, good moral speech about how wrong they were. The film trusts its audience to feel the weight of consequence without spelling it out. And that restraint felt dangerous to those who believed movies had a responsibility to deliver clear, attractive moral lessons. Fourth, the MPAA's ongoing controversy itself. The NC-17 rating has long been criticized as the best example of institutional bias in Hollywood content regulation. Documentaries like This Film Is Not Yet Rated attracted massive attention by exposing how the MPAA applied stricter standards to independent films, dealing with genuine human complexity than to big studio action films soaked in violence. Little Children became one of the best examples cited in that ongoing debate. A serious, good award-caliber film being treated as more dangerous than a blockbuster where hundreds of people are killed on screen. Ultimately, the restrictions and controversy surrounding Little Children did something the filmmakers probably didn't entirely anticipate. They made the film more attractive to audiences. Controversy is, in many ways, the best marketing a challenging film can receive. People who had never heard of Todd Field showed up curious, hooked by the question, what exactly is so dangerous about this movie? And when they watched it, they understood. Not because it was truly dangerous, but because it was true. And truth, it turns out, can be the most uncomfortable thing of all. Few films of the 2000s attracted the kind of lasting, good cultural conversation that Little Children managed to generate. And even now, nearly 2 decades later, its impact remains deeply hooked in the fabric of how we discuss American suburban life on film. The film arrived at a fascinating cultural moment. The mid-2000s were a period when American suburbs were being examined, dissected, and portrayed in film and television with a new and attractive honesty. Shows like Desperate Housewives were scratching the surface of suburban discontent, but Little Children went deeper, hit harder, and attracted a more serious and lasting response. Kate Winslet's performance as Sarah Pierce is now widely considered one of the best female performances of the entire decade. It fundamentally changed how Hollywood looked at Winslet, confirming her as not just an attractive leading lady, but as one of the finest and most hooked dramatic actresses of her generation. Her Oscar nomination for this role, combined with her win the following year for The Reader, cemented a legacy that began right here. Jackie Earle Haley's comeback performance as Ronnie attracted an entirely different kind of cultural impact. It reopened a good and necessary conversation about how society treats those who have committed the worst crimes. Whether or not anyone agreed with the film's compassionate portrayal, the conversation it generated was valuable and real. The film also attracted lasting academic attention. Film studies programs across the world use Little Children as one of the best examples of how literary adaptation can elevate cinema, how a good novel can become an even better film when placed in the right hands. Most powerfully, the film left audiences permanently hooked on a question they couldn't shake. Are we really so different from these people? That question, attractive in its discomfort, good in its honesty, is the greatest cultural gift little children gave us. And there it is, family. The full, beautiful, deeply uncomfortable truth about little children. The 2006 film that hooked audiences, attracted controversy, and gave us some of the best performances ever captured on screen. This is a film that dares to look at ordinary people, good people, attractive people, people with lawns and children and coffee in the morning, and ask the most terrifying question imaginable. What are you hiding? It reminds us that desire doesn't follow rules, that loneliness doesn't respect good intentions, that the most attractive cage in the world is still a cage, and that the best moments of genuine human growth are often the quietest, the most painful, and the least cinematic. Just a person alone in the night, choosing to finally truly face themselves. Todd Field gave us a masterpiece. Kate Winslet gave us a career-defining performance. Jackie Earle Haley gave us one of the most hooked and heartbreaking supporting roles in modern cinema. And together, they gave us something that doesn't come along often. A film that doesn't just entertain you, but changes the way you see the world you live in. If Little Children hasn't been on your watch list yet, it belongs at the very top, right now, tonight. Trust us, once it hooks you in those first beautiful, unsettling minutes, you will not be able to look away. This has been Hollywood Uncensored, where we don't just tell you about movies, we take you inside them. If you're watching this and you're not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, because the best is absolutely always yet to come on this channel. And speaking of the best, oh, do we have something good waiting for you next? Next time on Hollywood Uncensored, we are diving into another attractively dark, deeply hooked, and genuinely unforgettable cinematic experience. A film about memory, guilt, love, and the price of a secret kept too long. A film starring the incomparable Kate Winslet. Yes, her again, because greatness is magnetic, in perhaps the most devastating performance of her life. We are talking about The Reader, 2008. Be there. You will not regret it. This is Hollywood Uncensored. We'll see you in the dark.